do that. And so I've been in this business for 25 years, and we're really committed to financial literacy, teaching people how money works. And the problem is that our schools really don't do that. They do, and there's only 21 states that even require like a basic level class in high school, which I think's not good, right? Mm-hmm. And if our parents didn't teach us, which is almost all the time, my parents didn't know much about how money works. They had their pen. My mom was a teacher, my stepdad was a teacher. They just had their pensions, right? And so they didn't really understand how to have their money working for them, right? And that's a challenge. It's cross generational, cultural. It's a problem everywhere. There was a study that our parent company did. Aegon's our parent company, that just wanted to kind of take a pulse of what people really understood about money. They had a 5-question survey that they gave, and found that 2/3 of Americans couldn't get 3 of them right out of 5. And these are pretty basic, like everyone needs to know type questions. And so 2/3 of Americans in the world over are financially illiterate. And I ask you a question: how many people do you think the topic of money is kind of an important one in their life? Now money's not everything, right?
But sure. It's important.
It's kind of important, like up there with maybe oxygen. It's kind of important. You can't really live without it, or have the kind of life you want to live without it, right? And so and you look at why has this been such a problem? In 25 years, I feel like they're really the drop in the bucket in terms of this education. Part of the problem is that financial institutions, they don't want you to really understand how it works. If you think about it, like the biggest buildings in every city, they don't really benefit by you knowing how money works, right? For example, and I don't know if anyone works at a bank, I'm not here to villainize banks, right? I have a house because of a bank, right? But they're in the lending business, aren't they? So if you're getting 0.02% on your checking or savings account, did anyone ever call you lately and say, hey, by the way, the Federal Reserve's paying us 5.5% for holding on to your money. We're giving you 0.02. There's an account here that's making 5%, and it's guaranteed, FDIC insured, right? Probably no one's picked up the phone to say that, but the solution is look in your mailbox next time you open the mailbox and see how many credit card offers there are. Especially if you're decent credit, it's like, here you go, please borrow money. It's only 0% until this magic time in the future, and it's going to be 20+%. And then who makes the difference, right? So this is a problem. It's a huge issue, and that's one of the reasons why Tom Mathews wrote this book, How Money Works. Stop being a sucker. So that the sucker is, I think, because when you go and get the dumb lollipop when you go to the bank. I think that's why they chose that. It's the same color. It's the same thing. So stop being a sucker, right? And it was written in such a way that there's characters in here. It kind of reads like a cartoon, like a comic book, and there's a lot of easy pages here. So it looks, even though it's not that thin, it's also not that thick. It's about an hour read. If you're a slow reader like me, which everyone is told I'm an audiobook person for that reason, this probably you could read in 2 hours. But what we wanted to have is something that a person could read this book on their own volition, and we want to make it available to everybody, right? Where if they read it, they probably know more than 95% of Americans about personal finance in a very short period of time. And then it's up to them then to do something about it, right? The information that's in here. Because knowledge is great, it's important. And we can Google a lot too, right? But when you think about Google, anytime you're looking for information, you're looking for facts, how does that fact apply to you necessarily, right? So the difference between knowledge and wisdom, right? Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit and not a vegetable, right? But wisdom is to know don't put it in a fruit salad, right? So same thing with money, and so this book is best when you understand the concepts in here. A lot of people then want to say, all right, well, how does this actually apply to me? that's where we want to be able to offer that as a way to have it back.
So I have to watch my drink.
Oh, yeah, no stepping on drinks.
I don't want to lose it.
For your own carpet's sake.
Sure.
So that's really, I wanted to introduce this as a, now there is the how many works for women version of this, which is actually more comprehensive than this first version.
Is that the one that we're doing next?
Yeah, but this is the first version, and this is the one I could get my hands on because everyone wants those other ones that just came out, right? So, but these I already had, so I purchased some of these ahead of time myself, and this is the original. And what's happened is this took off right before COVID. Tom Mathews was planning on going on a big tour all over the country and all the media outlets and everything. Then COVID happened. It was written like the month prior. And so it's like, oh man, but it ended up being a little bit of a blessing in disguise because they could just, instead of having to hop on a plane and going to all these studios, they just got on Zooms.
Yeah.
And they ended up seeing, I think they were on like 300 different news, and like, you name it, ABC, NBC, Fox, everything, every local stations. And so over 130 million people have seen it, and that's why it's a best-selling book on Amazon right now. And you can get it on Amazon, I think it's like 16, 17 bucks. I brought some with me today because Tanisha invited me out. So here's the deal that I have for you, okay? And there's another book we're gonna have, right? We're gonna get our hands on the other one.
Yes.
I think this is a good first book because it's the women's book, which I mentioned is co-authored by Sharon Lechter. They're just fine, she's sold 30 million books in her lifetime. Right? She's a very big player, and she's always been focused on the financial literacy, which is why she partnered with us, because we have kind of the heart of being able to give this information out, but also the ability to provide solutions behind what's in this book, right? So that will probably be the book you end up reading, but I think this will be a good starter. And so my prerequisite, and I'd love to give everyone a copy of it, is that you promise to read it, number one. Number two, that you're willing to have a follow-up conversation. And we want to hear your opinion. We want to hear what you glean from it. If there's other people that you think could be of value as well, we don't want to keep it a secret. Our mission is to promote financial literacy. So everyone, that's why I have no QR code in here. This just leads to my different sites that Tanisha and I work with each other on, and there's a lot more information, videos, and anything that can get the word out. That's our goal. So that's really it. Any questions at all? This is all I had planned today, just to kind of meet everybody and hand these out and see if you really read. Anyone taking me up on that offer?
I'll be reading.
Yeah. Okay, here you go.
So I do have I don't have a
Yeah,
question.
please.
I have a comment.
Yes, please. Please.
Mine is just a comment. I'm in retirement. I
Yeah.
just went into retirement in October of last year.
Congratulations.
And I think that this is so timely. I'm listening to some of the people that, like, you're in college and stuff like that. It's never too soon. I have several friends that they're in retirement and they're having to work. So that's not what you want.
No.
Is to get to retirement. You're supposed to get to retirement. If you want to work, it should be something you want to do, and you don't care if they paid you or not. So I think that this is so important. And I just want to look at it from as compared to what my husband and I have done together in terms of, saving and putting money away and stuff like that.
Wonderful.
So.
Yeah, and what you bring up is such an important thing, is that, people, they have a lot of anxiety about the future because they don't understand what their picture looks like. Really, they don't have a clear picture of it. People put their money in a 401k or something and kind of like, well, I hope that works out, right? They don't know what it's really going to look like, though, from income stream. What's my work optional lifestyle date? Where's the date where finances don't dictate whether I have to work or not? I can live in a want to world, where maybe I want to be relevant in people's lives in some way, but it's not about money. It's about doing something I really enjoy, like you said, and just so targeting that and understanding, what it takes to get there. Boy, that just relieves a lot of stress when people have a better picture.
Very dark. I get it. Yes, baby. Actually, I had a question, and I need a copy as well, but is there one for women? Cause
There is.
Okay, that's my question. I felt like that's what the book was.
There's, and I just couldn't, and I said this very before you jumped down here. I just couldn't get my hands on as many copies I needed, but we will get that.
Okay.
Also.
All right. Yes.
And so this is the original one, and then Sharon Lecter came on board with us because of this book. But this is more foundational, and then the other one's more specific to women's needs, right? But this, money's money. It's at the end of the day, it works the same way. Yeah, that's the answer. Yeah. So, any other thoughts or?
Yeah, what's up, Amy?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will leave no one out.
I just think that this is always needed, and I hate that they don't really teach it as much in schools. That they took it out because, the more you know when you're younger, the better decisions you'll make when you get older.
100%.
So, like for
time
me,
working for you then.
yes.
Yes.
So, even like for me, I'm at an age right now, I had someone really instilled in me how, finances and stuff like that work.
Yeah.
I could retire. I could have been retired by now. A lot of people now, think that you really need to get to that actual retirement age of 67 to retire.
Right.
And you don't, it just depends on how you invest and what type of money you have. And then it's also your lifestyle. Like what my lifestyle is to me, looks to me, yours may look different. I may not need as much money as you need, I just need to be comfortable and then have other things in place. So like I have a friend, she worked for CPS for like maybe over 30 years.
Yeah.
And she's 60, then she just made 61. And she's doing pretty well for herself.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, she's not ready to retire yet. She was like, if I knew when my last day on this earth would be.
Right. We would need to play.
Yeah. She said, if I know when my last day on this earth would be, then I would live a little differently and, I would spend my money. She said, but I don't know that.
Right.
I said, yeah, but the fact that you don't know that and you still like hesitant and living like you're like stagnant, like you're stuck. And so my thing is, I know for a fact, and I'm not a financial advisor, I know from what I see and what I know, if you step out, you will be okay. Like you don't have to go up until 67.
Right.
Because what if you don't make it to 67? And then you have all this money and
It's not about age, right?
and time. Yes, all this time. So it's like, now is the time to retire. And then I was listening to this one financial advisor some months ago, and he was saying, when you get to a certain age, like you should pre-retire.
You really should.
Yeah, you should start pre-retiring. Start doing some of the things that you like. Start using some of your money. And especially, for certain cultures, you have to learn to let the money work for you and not necessarily work for the money.
Right.
A lot of people are just so, I gotta have this, I need this, and they're working all these jobs and they got this money and they're stressed out on their job.
Right.
Why are you stressed out? Go talk to a financial advisor, see what you can take down, see how much it's gonna cost you, and see if at least maybe get a part-time job and then take this type of money until you reach your retirement age and you get all the, the return on your investment. So there's just so many different ways, but people, if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
And then,
You don't know what you don't know.
Right, you don't know what you don't know,
Right.
and then people are scared to like just step out on faith. Me, I'm a little different. If I only got $500, I'm gonna take $250 of that. I'm gonna do this up here. I'm gonna buy me an airplane ticket, and then everything else. So it's just the things. But yeah, this is like really.
It is. I have to underscore just almost everything that you said. I talked to too many people when I got ready to retire in October last year. They kept saying, when I want to retire, but I gotta work I'm working until I'm 70. And it's sad because they have to work. They don't
That's the difference,
have
right?
the choice. Like you said, you want to be in a position where you have the choice. And the only other thing I'm going to say is that we need a save mentality, but not to the point that you have to sacrifice everything,
Right.
as opposed to a spend mentality. I have a friend that is very proud of all her charge cards, and I finally just had to cut her off one day and said, we're not doing that. What we're doing is paying off everything because the interest rates on the charge cards are so high and stuff like that. If we can't afford to buy the cash, then maybe we don't need it right now or right then and all of this other stuff. But be proud of the fact that you're going to put it on this charge and that charge. That's not going to help you in the next next 5, 6, because she's not that far from wanting to retire.
Right.
So,
And then you got this debt going on.
and then you got the debt going
Yeah,
on.
and that's
And
more
there's
stress.
nobody profiting from debt
Other
except
than
for
banks.
the people that, the people that give you the credit cards. They're
Correct.
profiting big time.
Big time, yeah. Yeah, and that is, everything you said is 100% true, and we just need more people to hear it, and understand it, right? So it's powerful when it comes from people who love you and care for you, because then you can step out of faith a little bit easier to know that, hey, I gotta follow this path, right? We live in a consumption-driven society where it's like, right now, I want it now. It's a microwave society, right? We want to put a steak in the microwave, and 2 minutes later we want it to taste like it was on the grill, but that's not how life works. And it's
Not more like an Instapot, like society.
Instapot, and that's right. And so, but anything worth having takes time to build.
Save.
And
You
you,
know,
right.
do you really need, we had to ask ourselves, I was telling my husband, I want a new car. Okay, do I need a new car? No. Okay. And do I enjoy not having a car? No. Yes.
That's the best feeling.
And
Right?
and I had to have that talk with myself and stuff like that, and I don't want to do that to myself.
Well, you start thinking like, all right, what's that $600 a month? Would I rather be paying that out, or what else could I spend that money on that I could enjoy?
That's right.
Right?
It might be a trip or something like
Sure,
that.
sure.
Tabitha was saying they just got back from Dubai. That's on our list of things to do and stuff like that. And I don't
Which
want
is
to
so
put that on
cool.
I don't want to put that on the charge card. I want to be able to
Just
pay for it
Yes.
ahead of time, have enough spending money, and it takes planning out to do that. So
Right.
I'm good with that. So
Awesome.
it's not going to happen, in September, but then, next year it's on the list and you work toward that instead of putting yourself through so many changes with the credit card debt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just say that to, just in retrospect to some of the young members. Hey, doesn't mean you gotta give up everything. You don't have to live like
A pauper.
you don't have to live like a pauper.
Right.
Just put some away.
Just a little discipline, and then that discipline turns into a habit, and then it's easy. Once you learn to pay yourself first, right?
Google that 80, the 80-20, what
Forever
is the
principle.
rule of,
Oh, you're talking about Rule 72?
yeah, where your money
It's in there.
goes and stuff
Page
like that.
62.
Pay yourself, like, oh.
Yeah, because your money, just with a little bit, you don't have to have a lot to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think people, their mindset's like, I gotta have this amount of money. No, you really
No,
don't.
you
It just
really don't.
depends on your lifestyle,
Right.
how, what you're comfortable with.
Right.
So you don't really need a whole lot, because at the end of the day, if something happens, somebody's gonna take that money that you worked so hard for and then do something with it that you probably would have never done with it, so.
Right,
yeah.
right. Well,
This is a good, I can't wait to read this, and my husband's gonna read it too.
Awesome. awesome.
We
awesome.
will
The
kind of-
timing is perfect because we
Yeah.
had recently just started buying some teaching myself how to be the finance.
Oh,
So I think the timing is actually perfect.
Yeah,
Now
me
you
too.
have a book and, any guidance you need and support. So that's awesome.
Thank
Congratulations. So, well, hey, it was a real pleasure meeting everyone. I want to make sure you guys get to the reason you came here. This is the extra credit. And hopefully we'll get a chance to chat again, right?
Yeah.
And hear what your thoughts are. And we'll get the other book to you as well.
Okay.
I think that does have a little bit more that's more specific to other financial things.
That was my question. Why for women?
Women,
So is
right?
this-
It's like, right.
is this men? Is it
No,
like-
no, it's just this is a general.
General.
It's a general, but there's certain things like what happens. Like my aunt, she became a widow 4 years ago, but my uncle always took care of the money. Now I handle their money, right? But if it wasn't for me, she would have been lost because she never took initiative to learn. Because that's kind of it could be like a cultural thing where this is their job, or this. What about divorcees? What about single mothers? All these things are issues, and money. Then how you deal with money in those instances, I think it's more specific to those situations, right? But at the end of the day, you're right. Money's money. Rule 72 applies across the board, right? But there's those nuances in that book that's goes through case studies and different things like that. You know, so, but hey, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Yeah, and
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks for the invite. And we'll get a chance to chat in the near future, everybody.
Yeah.